Hey, what's up, guys? I am here to give you my WWE RAW review from last night. It happened on September 1st, 2014. I know it's kind of late, but happy Labor Day to all the viewers that celebrated Labor Day yesterday. So let's get right into the RAW review. We got JBL, Michael Cole, and Jerry the Kid Lawler on commentary. As for RAW, by the way, I thought it was a good RAW. Had some good stuff on it. It was some points, I guess, when it dragged on, but it was a pretty easy sit through. It started light with the highlight reel with Randy Orton, which Chris Jericho hosts that show, and he pretty much just gets cheap pops, which he did say was cheap pops. He did say he liked cheap pops, and he said that Randy Orton didn't earn anything, but instead of having Randy Orton come out, the entire Authority comes out, which is Triple H, Seth Rollins, Corporate Kane, and Randy Orton himself. The only one that didn't come out was Stephanie McMahon. And Triple H says that he wants to get cut right down to the chase. He wants to get into business. He says it's not best for business to have Brock Lesnar versus John Cena, since it was a complete domination, so he's going to name a new #1 contender. And so then Seth Rollins mentions that he could be the #1 contender since he's taking out Dean Ambrose. Randy Orton says he should have one since he didn't get his WrestleMania rematch, and he wants to have a match with and he says he's the one that can beat Brock Lesnar. And Kane says that if he pulls out his mask, the Demon can beat Brock Lesnar. And Chris Jericho says he should get the shot since he was the first ever undisputed champion. But then but then Cena comes out, says he should get the championship match. He knows he can beat Brock Lesnar. He is entitled to a rematch. And he says that if he doesn't get his rematch, he will take Triple H to court and own the entire and become the new COO. And become the new COO and and fire Triple H, which was awesome. I really liked what he said there. And then Triple H says that this match is not what's best for business. To be honest with you, he says that John Cena as the WWE World Heavyweight Champion is not what's best for business. And he also says that if Brock Lesnar takes out John Cena, that it will not also be what's bad for business. But then Seth Rollins says that just let him have the match because he can. There's always if an opportunity presents itself, there's always a plan B. But referring to if he has a chance to cash in his Money in the Bank, he can always just cash it in. And then Randy Orton says, "Yeah, let him have the match. I'll take the winner of that match." And then Corporate Kane agrees. And then Chris Jericho says that you shouldn't even have the match because you last time you were in a main event match, you lost to Roman Reigns. And then Randy Orton says, like, I would drop Roman Reigns any day. So then Roman Reigns comes out and says that he should get the title shot. And that Roman Reigns will like drop Randy Orton, and that he says that him and Seth Rollins have unfinished business. So then Triple H says says that all of them have a chance to prove themselves. So he makes a 6-man tag team match with John Cena, Roman Reigns, and Chris Jericho versus the Authority members of Seth Rollins, Randy Orton, and Corporate Kane. And then so then they kind of end off looks like they're all going to leave, but then Seth Rollins tries to jump Roman Reigns with the briefcase, but Roman Reigns punches him and then throws the briefcase at him. Good stuff. Thought it was fine. Good way. It was a different way to kind of start the show. Next thing that happened is the first match. We got Cesaro and The Miz with Damian Mizdow, his stunt double, and he had a makeup artist out there. Fought Sheamus and Dolph Ziggler. This match was fine. I actually like what they did with the Miz here. Anytime he got hit or anything, he went to his makeup artist. So kind of Cesaro kind of took control a lot in the match. But then Dolph Ziggler got the hot tag, goes off on the Miz. But then as he tries to finish him off, Miz rolls out of the ring and gets his makeup done. So he sends Damian Miz down in to distract him. But then Dolph Ziggler ends up laying him out with the zigzag, and Miz hits the Skull Crusher finale for the win. And then, yeah, it was good. I thought Miz actually was pretty good last night. And throughout the night, it plays like these things about what it was like for Nikki Bella to grow up with Brie Bella. And she kind of says all the stuff that she did to her growing up, like how, I forget what the first one was. One of them was, how Brie Bella, no, I forget, I remember, Nikki Bella had some sort of boy, some guy, I forget what his name was, how she had a crush on this guy, and she wanted him to ask her to prom for the longest time, and he finally did, but then he ended up disappearing, and then she saw Brie Bella with him, which could be, bad place, bad time. Which I think, is probably not true. And then another one was, how Brie Bella had failed her, driving test, but Nikki Bella's passed, so Nikki Bella had to drive her around. But then one night, Brie Bella stole Nikki Bella's license, and then she ended up crashing the car. So Nikki Bella got blamed for it because she showed the officer her license. And then the other one was when they were about to graduate school. Brie Bella almost didn't graduate, so Nikki Bella tried to tutor her, but ended up not working. So they traded places, and Brie Bella graduated. That one's probably not true, but I like how they're doing this. I like this feud. I'm just going to mention that later on tonight, too, Stephanie McMahon was backstage with Triple H and said she has to give back to Nikki Bella. She feels like she has to. So she ends up making Nikki Bella the #1 contender to Paige's Divas Championship. So Brie Bella comes out and says, was this all what it was for? Just to get a #1 contenders match for the Divas Championship with sisters. So then an AJ Lee comes out, says that she should get the #1 contenders match since she has a rematch, which is true. And then what happens is Stephanie McMahon, Nikki Bella asked Brie Bella to quit, make the sacrifices that she has made for her, but Brie Bella doesn't do it, and Nikki Bella gets pissed just because she says that you made the sacrifice for your husband Daniel Bryan, but you haven't made the sacrifices for me. So then she just says like, leave, quit. So then Brie Bella goes to leave, but then she ends up shoving Nikki Bella into Paige, who ended up coming out there, which she didn't really do anything. She just kind of said that you should have the Divas Champion out there. And then afterwards, AJ Lee gets the title and starts skipping around with her, but Stephanie McMahon makes her give it to her, and she ends up doing that. I thought that was a fine segment. But then earlier on, we had a Total Divas match with Layla, Summer Rae, and Naomi versus Eva Marie, Rosa Mendez, and Cameron. The referee loses control, the match gets thrown out, and then all the faces lay out the heels. Rosa Mendez is on Total Divas now. Layla is not. Total Divas comes back this Sunday. I will not be watching that show because it fucking sucks. I hate it. Then we got Sorry about that. My friend forgot something and he doesn't like being on camera, so I had to stop. But as I was saying, Big Show and Luke Harper ended up facing off against Luke. Oh, what the fuck? What a botch. Big Show and Mark Henry ended up facing off against Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. This was good stuff. It was fine. The match itself was okay. During the match, Rusev comes out, and what ends up happening here is he just comes out to watch, and then Big Show is being dominated by Harper and Rowan. So then Mark Henry gets the hot tag, and he's about to put Luke Harper away with the World's Strongest Slam. But Rusev kicks him in the face, which causes a DQ. And then Big Show um, comes in with a chair and fends him off, and then what else? And then Eric Rowan tries to come in with the chair, but then he ends up escaping. So that's how it all ended there. And then afterwards, we got Paul Heyman promo. He comes out and talks about how Lesnar is the greatest champion. How all this stuff about how Cena thinks he's become stronger and is going to take Lesnar down. It's just all in his head. And Brock Lesnar's just going to end up taking him down. And he thinks that it's a good idea for Triple H to call off the match at Night of Champions. I thought it was good stuff. As long as I know I said that I'm fine with I am fine that Lesnar wasn't on the show this week, because he does have Heyman to fall back on. Because when the fucking Rock was the champion, there was really no way you could have hyped him up. Really, he was just gone. You really wouldn't hear about him or the championship until he gets back. At least he has Paul Heyman. So if Heyman's on the show, it gives that WWE World Heavyweight Championship that presence. So I was fine with it. And then we got Jack Swagger and Zeb Coulter came back on this show, and he fought Curtis Axel. Match was okay. Jack Swagger makes him tap to the ankle lock, though, and during the match, Bo Dallas had come out and had some people come down and sit like on chairs and talk about what. And Bo Dallas says that you had let 318 Americans down at SummerSlam, and you talked about how so he brings out 3 of them, and Bo Dallas, this was awesome stuff, has one of them say that he had bet his entire life savings on him, and he did double or nothing when he had the rematches against Rusev, because at on Raw, and I guess he had a match with him on SmackDown. And now he has no savings, and then he has one of them saying that he had gotten deported back to Italy, and then the other one says that her son wanted to be just like Jack Swagger, but now that he lost, he wants to be just like Vladimir Putin, and I thought that was awesome. So then Bo Dallas has puts the hand over the heart and say, "Bo, leave," instead of "we the people." So Bo Dallas, I'm really enjoying him, you know. If only he was still undefeated, but you know, I'm enjoying the storyline between Jack Swagger and Bo Dallas. And then we got Titus O'Neil with Heath Slater versus Adam Rose. I thought it was okay. I'm not really as big of an Adam Rose fan as I was before. I don't know why. If it's just he's not marketed as much anymore. I don't know why. But yeah. I don't know. It's just something. I still like Adam Rose. I think he brings what's fun to wrestling, you know, unlike Santino, who was just a joke, but at least he can wrestle, so that's good. But Titus O'Neil is pretty much kicking his ass, and then the bunny comes down to cheer Adam Rose on, and then Heath Slater shoves the bunny, and the bunny takes down Heath Slater, and Adam Rose rolls up Titus O'Neil for the win, and then they throw Heath Slater in the steps. Shoulder first into the steel steps. I thought it was all just kind of, Anything else though to mention? Heath Slater. I want to talk about him. I don't know. I think they should have given him, like, they were pushing him kind of. They had him beat Seth Rollins, and then they had him beat Dolph Ziggler. And before that, he had eliminated Cesaro from the Intercontinental Championship Battle Royal, and now he's just kind of back from where he started. You know, he's not. I thought they could have done some good babyface run with Heath Slater. Maybe have him go after. I mean, they think it still could do that, you know. Maybe break up this Slater and the Gator tag team, but that between him and Titus O'Neil, and have him beat Titus O'Neil in like a match, and then have, if Cesaro beats Sheamus for the U.S. title, have him go after Cesaro for the U.S. title and build up a feud between them. I would be fine with that. And then Rusev with Lana squash Zack Ryder. They cut a typical, like, American promo trash in Labor Day, which I thought was good. And then Mark Henry comes out, but Rusev escapes, and Mark Henry's like, "What are you scared of? I'm sick and tired of you trashing America," and he says that he's going to make an international version now of the Hall of Pain, and Rusev's going to be the first inductee, which I thought was good. And I already talked about the Triple H backstage. That was that whole Stephanie McMahon thing. And then Bray Wyatt is backstage. He cuts a promo on Chris Jericho. To be honest with you, I don't even remember what he said. So, but we find out next week that Chris Jericho and Bray Wyatt are gonna have a steel cage match, which I think is good. Blows off the feud. I was thinking, why didn't they just do this at Night of Champions? But I think Chris Jericho's going back on tour with his band Fozzy, so I think that might be why they're not doing it on at Night of Champions, because he has to probably leave before the pay-per-view. Oh, this was good. I thought we got Jimmy Uso with Jey Uso versus Goldust with Stardust. This was good stuff. Goldust and Stardust are heels now, so that's good. And they go to apologize to the Usos, but they attack them, but then they end up getting a little bit damage on Jimmy Uso, who was wrestling the match with Goldust. So then they have the match, and the match is actually going pretty well. It's just kind of like, one of those decent matches. And Stardust ends up interfering and puts Goldust's foot on the rope when he's getting pinned. So then Jey Uso, I think that's Jey, right? Yeah, Jey Uso, who has the injured leg right now, tries to attack Stardust, but he goes after the injured leg. So Jimmy dives on Stardust, and then Goldust kicks Jimmy Uso in the head and hits the final cut for the win. And then afterwards, they attack Jey Uso, which was good. They throw him leg first into the apron, and then I think it was supposed to be the post, but it looked like to me the apron. Then afterwards, Stardust grabs a chair and hits Jey in the leg with the chair while he's kind of like on the post, and that was it. I thought this was good stuff. I think they're going a great job. I think I like them better as heels right now. When they were babyface, I still like them. It was still a good stuff for them, but I thought they were kind of like comedy. I think this can be taken really seriously here. I think this is good stuff. So then Mark Henry and Big Show are backstage, and Big Show is happy that he got his revenge on Rusev, but he wants he wants Mark Henry and him to focus on becoming a dominant tag team, but first Big Show wants to go after... No. Mark Henry wants to go after Rusev first, and then Big Show says he's got his back, but Mark Henry wants to do this on his own, so Big Show understands that. I don't know if this was the breakup of the tag team or what, but that's what happened, but we'll see what happens with this. And then we got the main event, John Cena, Roman Reigns, and Chris Jericho versus Seth Rollins, Corporate Kane, and Randy Orton. Good match. The heels dominate Roman Reigns for a while, so then Chris Jericho gets the hot tag, and then they all hit the finishers. Roman Reigns hits, I think, the spear on Randy Orton. Kane chokeslams him, and then John Cena gives the FU to Kane, and then Seth Rollins hits the knee off the top. Chris Jericho hits a cold breaker, but during the break, Randy Orton had pulled Chris Jericho out, so he couldn't make the cover. So then Chris Jericho gets dominated for a long-ass time. And then John Cena gets the hot tag, and he finishes off Kane with a few. Well, and then Roman Reigns gets in, spears Kane for the win. And then afterwards, he has a face-off with Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, who were out there watching the match because they wanted to see who was worthy. And then Seth Rollins tries to attack Cena, but he FUs him on the announcer's table. And that was the end of the show. And we find out, too, that, so that was the end of the show. I thought the Raw was fine. It wasn't the greatest Raw, but it was fine. The highlights, I think, was that 6-man tag team match. The Mark Henry Rusev stuff I thought was pretty good this week. The highlight reel, that was good, but that was... And I liked I did like the Stardust and Goldust stuff. That was good when they took out the Usos. What else did I like? I like what they did with Bo Dallas and Jack Swagger this week. And that was about... And the Bellas stuff. I like what they did with the Bellas. I think they're gonna have a fatal 4-way now with the Divas between Brie, Nikki, and Paige and AJ Lee. So I thought this was good stuff this week. And I like what they did with The Miz this week, too. So I thought Raw was pretty good this week. But next week, I think Raw is going to be great because we're going to have a cage match between Chris Jericho and Bray Wyatt. A SummerSlam rematch between Roman Reigns and Randy Orton. And Michael Sam is invited to come to Raw next week. I haven't heard anything about that yet, if he's accepted. But I guess he got traded off his team, so he's going to get an open mic to give his side of the story. I hope he doesn't accept, because usually when they put in celebrities, it's just trash. But maybe he'll be entertaining. Sometimes they're entertaining, but sometimes they don't really have a big effect on the show, and it's just kind of eh. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that. If he does accept, it's probably going to be over a tweet or something, or like Tout, if that still exists. So it's gonna, or Skype. Maybe they'll call him on SmackDown on Skype. So they're gonna do something with that. He's probably like, I don't watch football, but I don't even know if he's any good. They probably had to cut him because he was like, I don't know. It was probably the good reason they cut him, but I don't know. It's just probably dumb. But I guess it should be okay. But Raw's going to be good next week, though. I guarantee you they're going to have that cage match and Roman Reigns versus Randy Orton, which I think should have a stip. You should have a 2 out of 3 falls match or something. But that's all I really have to say. I'm just kind of rambling on. So I just want to remind you guys that there's a status on Facebook. You can ask any Q&A. I'm not really going to give like a... I did say in the status that you have until Sunday, but who knows if I'll get enough questions by then. So once I get up to 20 questions, I'll